Hi everybody, welcome to week 8 of the course. Wow, midterm week, woohoo! Yeah, everybody's favorite. Let's see, just to give you guys some quick summaries about abstracts this past week or looking at articles. The articles that you guys read for this past week were pretty straightforward. There was nothing too complicated. And so most of your abstracts were good. Some of them still were either not long enough and so didn't have enough detailed information, or they were just vague. And this is just a few of you. So here's my advice. Cut and paste your document into a Word doc. And if it's 1 page or less, chances are it's just too short because it's hard to do a really good job in less than a page. I mean, a good page and a quarter, page and a half even, is what you want. And then the issue that a few of you guys still have about abstracts is about vagueness. Never just say something like, the author talks about how social bonds are formed. Like specifically, what does the author say about how social bonds are formed? And then there were 2 examples I literally cut and pasted off of your things. One was, quote, Mahler describes similar issues. What? Like, what are they? That's what you want, right? Hagen discusses the issues that migrants faced. What? Like, what issues and how? And how is it different between Hagen and whatever else, other stuff you've read? All right, so let me know if you have any concerns about your own abstracts. Let's see, the Weatherford reading. Almost all of you guys did this one, and good. It's a really good piece. The best abstracts were those that brought out the really precise mechanisms, right, about how it is that demand for something in the West can impact such a small village, and then the conditions of migrant workers within that country. So if you weren't sure about what those processes were, just 2 of them, Kathy's and Shad's, you guys both did really good jobs on that, like detailing the processes, all right? Some quick comments. Carolyn and Jill, good job for grounding this in Zollberg. That made a lot of sense. Jana and Kelly, good job calling for more attention to what's often called the meso level, and that's the role of governments and sometimes media in acting as a kind of intermediary force between macro and micro levels. Kathy, I like how you related this to Sassen's exploitative survival circuits. Shad, I might disagree with you on if or how Bolivian farmers choose to work at something that leaves them permanently maimed. That's not the word I would attribute to this. Seems to me, given the need for cash in the global economy, and even the fact that villages who can't grow cocoa have difficulty growing anything because they can't sustain a labor force needed to work the fields. I just don't think choice is the right word. Kirby, I liked how you related it to Mahler in terms of social breakdown. Kelly, I'm really intrigued by the idea of ecofeminism, and I wish you had told us more. Next time, tell us more about like what exactly that would add, okay? Sharada, I'm really interested to hear, Sharada, what you think the US government could do to make the lives of people who are suffering here better, especially given that we have this war on drugs that hasn't really been successful. Like, you say an ultimatum, like what would that be? What would an ultimatum be? Let's see, for those of you guys who did the Graham article about Dominicans in New York City, Shad, again, really good summary, and then good contrast with Mahler's stuff about social class. Kelly, you're right. This is really about mobilizing political capital across borders. Let's see, my notes. Yeah, Sharada, you make the comparison about how supported migrants feel by the sending country, and that you don't see that in the Mahler reading. And I think this really speaks to, or the reason for this really speaks to how marginalized Indian or indigenous groups really are in Guatemala, and let's face it, even here in the US. I mean, they were considered the bad guys, right, who were insurrecting, or is that a word? Raising an insurrection against the government. Tanya, I like your call for how it would be really nice to hear about more than, I mean, the article was focused on politics, but you say it would be nice to have heard more about other social factors or processes in the other transnational blah. More than just transnational politics here, but other social institutions as well. Yeah, me too. It's a good point. Let's see, the Hagen reading. I was surprised how many of you guys did the Hagen reading because I myself, I'm a little bit mined in the US out. I feel like we've heard a lot this year so far about that. But it was nice to have a cheerful perspective, right? For me, the really best thing that this article did was to highlight the role of women in terms of cultural persistence and identity persistence. Teresa and Jana, particularly, you guys did a good job picking up on that. Donna, I love the idea about how cool it would be to get an outsider perspective on that community. I totally agree with you. Let's see, you guys. This week, you have a video. It's a really short week because it's midterm week. But you have to watch a video by Alicia Recruz. You might remember she's the one whose content, she wrote all the content for this course. And the video is really based on her fieldwork in this small Mayan Indian village in Mexico called Chancom, which is about an hour outside of Cancun. And so her fieldwork has to do with the impact of all the migrants, Mayan Indian migrants who went to Cancun to work in the hotel zone, and the impact of that really on the sending village and how the village emptied out and how that changed local politics. Anyway, it's a really intimate, short but intimate film, and Alicia is always really good at depicting sort of this quiet intimacy of everyday life. Yeah, anyway, it's really good. It makes you feel like you really know the people. So if you're interested in this, I was going to tell you guys, Alicia often takes students down to this area, and then our department has even gotten really involved in a village about 15 miles away from Chancom, this other Mayan Indian village. It's called Yashuna. And so anyway, if you guys are interested in either of these places, there are always lots of interesting things to do or ways to get down there. About your midterm, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, but let me know if it's not, if I left out something. Make sure you submit it in the assignments folder, all right? The assignments folder, and it's in the top left margin of the course, right below, I think it's below where your discussion, but it could be right in the same margin as where your discussion topics are found, okay? I guess that's it. If you guys have any questions, just let me know, okay?